NOAA and NASA have just released their climate reports for February of 2016 and also meteorological winter, December of 2015, January and February of 2016. They all agree that global temperatures are continuing to soar. Just about all areas are setting new records. Global temperatures, that's land and oceans combined, are 1.2 degrees centigrade above the 20th century average, a record. Land temperatures, 2.3 degrees centigrade above the 20th century average. Ocean temperatures, 0.8 degrees centigrade above the 20th century average. Both the northern and southern hemispheres set new records as well, being 1.6 degrees and 0.9 degrees centigrade above the 20th century average. As you can see from this chart, most of the outstanding climate events from this month are either droughts or high temperature records. The continental United States has had its warmest winter on record, with no areas below average temperatures and several areas setting record highs. Nor is Alaska immune from this. They've also had a record warm winter. So is El Niño to blame? The current El Niño has been likened to the 97-98 El Niño, which is the largest on record. Some say the current El Niño is the third strongest. Others say it actually is equivalent to the 97-98 El Niño. Either way, can we blame El Niño for these extreme temperatures? What we need to do then is to compare the temperatures in 97 and 98 with those of the current El Niño. Here's a plot of the global average temperature anomaly for the last 40 years. You can see that the overall rate of increase of global temperatures is approximately 0.0014 degrees centigrade per month, or about 0.16 or 17 degrees centigrade per decade. Now let's compare the 97-98 El Niño temperatures with the current ones. You can see that the overall rate of increase in temperature is very similar to that of the overall trend. So the individual peak at the times of these El Niños is indeed due to the El Niño itself. However, the increase in temperatures over that period seems to be due to another factor, and that seems to be consistent with anthropogenic global warming. Now let's take a look at some other factors. First, we'll deal with ice and snow. In the Northern Hemisphere, snow coverage has been falling for the last 7 years. It's dropped nearly 6 million square kilometers in that time. Next, let's take a look at sea ice. In the Northern Hemisphere, sea ice extent sets a new record low for February 2016. It is 7.5 million square kilometers below the 30-year average. Now let's take a look at the Southern Hemisphere. The sea ice there has dropped from record high levels over the last few years to below average now. That's a drop of over 30% in its area. Now let's take a look at the upper atmosphere, where more records were broken. For the lower troposphere, the temperature anomaly was about 0.9 degrees centigrade above the average, with an increasing trend of 0.14 degrees centigrade per decade, which is very similar to the rate of increase at the surface. The mid-troposphere temperature anomaly was also a record at 0.7 degrees centigrade above the average, with a trend of 0.1 degrees centigrade per decade. The stratosphere is cooling, and that's a sign of effect of greenhouse gases, but did not set a new record. It was 0.3 degrees centigrade below the average, with a trend of 0.3 degrees centigrade decline per decade. It would seem that El Niño is beginning to decline. The models are projecting that by the mid part of the year will be in ENSO neutral conditions, and by the end of the year probably in a La Niña. Every month new records seem to be falling. In the United States year to date we've had 13,900 record highs versus only 1,780 record lows. Therefore, for every one record low, we're approximately having 8 record high temperatures set. Globally, year to date, we have 25,000 record highs versus nearly 4,000 record lows. That's a ratio of 6 to 1. over the last year globally, we've had 129,000 record highs set versus only 42,000 record lows. That's a ratio of 3 to 1. That means that the rate at which we're setting these records seems to be accelerating. So with global temperatures increasing as rapidly as they are, it would seem forecasts of an impending ice age are not only wildly inaccurate, but downright silly. Until next time, bye for now.